Hello viewers, welcome back. And today we are reviewing quite a special piece. So what we've got today is an 18 karat gold Rolex day date. The president, if you will. This one has the lovely champagne dial. So the classic, I always think of this combination of 18 karat gold president bracelet, champagne dial when I think of Rolex. That to me is how iconic this watch is for Rolex, arguably the most prestigious mainstream watch brand in the world. So let's get on to some thoughts about this, shall we? This is 36mm and it wears really nicely on the wrist actually. I usually won't entertain a watch that's less than 39mm, but this one at 36 wears incredibly well. I think it might be something to do with the fact that it's just such a bold watch on the wrist that it has so much presence. And I think that the 40mm versions, the more recent ones, this is a 1996 by the way, just look too ostentatious, I think. If that is possibly a thing to be when we're talking about solid gold Rolexes. But some of the things that really strike me as benefits to this watch are the fact that this is 100 meters water resistant. I absolutely love the fact that this has a day and a date, and because this is the model that they released after around 1990, when they introduced the double quickset, you can change the day and the date independently through the crown, either downwards or upwards. Downwards changes the date and upwards changes the day. So you can change them both independently. So you don't have to spend ages kind of twiddling the crown around to set the day and the date, almost like a kind of perpetual calendar or something. So this one, as I say, comes with the president bracelet, and this is the first time I've had a president bracelet slash it's essentially a jubilee on the wrist before, and it's just such luxury. I think it's just such luxury. I'm usually used to the oyster bracelets, and this one, it just has a greater degree of movement in it because it has more links. Obviously the flip side of that is that you do get these starting to droop a lot, so when you're looking out for one of these on the second-hand market, if you're interested, the classic test is to see how much stretch there is in the bracelet by holding it like this. And then variants that have had perhaps a hard life, where dirt has gone in the links start to essentially expand the distance between them, and you start to get this kind of bowed effect when you hold it horizontally like this, which implies there's stretch in the bracelet. I think another thing that I just absolutely love about this watch is the fact that it's kind of weirdly discreet, because I think it was the most faked watch ever. I read that somewhere online, maybe I'm wrong. There are so many kind of variations of this watch. I remember when I was growing up, there was a company called Nixon that did like skateboard watches, and they had a watch called the Don that looked almost exactly like this one. It was gold, and it had a day and a date, and it was quartz, but for all intents and purposes it looked very similar to this. And weirdly, although this watch is very valuable now, these are about 10 to 15,000 depending on the condition and the age, etc., the service history, it's always there in films and photographs, and it has been copied many times before from a range of different manufacturers with a range of different precious metals and non-precious metals. So weirdly, it doesn't feel like it grabs a lot of attention. I've worn it sparingly to dinner and to a couple of restaurants and things like that, mostly driving there, hopping out of the car, looking both ways, being very paranoid about being jumped for it, and then covering my wrist like this, and actually when it slips out, it really doesn't get that much attention at all. Interesting. But let's have a look at some of the other things I've got here, because this watch was actually my father's watch, and he bought it brand new for the sum of £10,430 from a jeweller's in Hatton Garden in November 1996. So my dad actually managed to negotiate a discount on it, it seems, because although the price is listed at £10,430, he paid £8,344. So actually it's not done too badly, really. And what I have here is the full box that goes with it. So you can see this box is the kind of very traditional Rolex with the compass and map on it. Unfortunately, this notepad that you get here is a little bit dusty, but it smells, either because I've had it on a humidor or because it naturally smells like this, but it smells like cigars. It smells like kind of that kind of woody, I don't know, smell to it. We've got this quite lovely original notebook that your day date, if you're interested in one, should come with, which is quite lovely, this Rolex notebook. It then should come with this leather box like this, with this kind of faux clasp on the top of it, because actually the box just opens up. And inside you should be presented with some kind of card wallet. We've also got the hang tag here, so this came with a kind of, it looks very modern actually, just a normal Swiss chronometer hang tag. And it should be then presented with a mounting bracket like this, and we've actually got here the original tag. Wow, there you go, the original tag that came with it that says Rolex President on it. Very cool, very cool. So a complete set here, along with a couple of spare links that are just kicking around at the bottom of the box rather worryingly, because these are probably worth quite a bit of money given that they are solid gold. So where does this leave us then with this watch? I absolutely love wearing this. Weirdly, it doesn't attract as much attention as I thought. I think because it's been copied so many times, it's been faked, or lots of other manufacturers have had a go at something similar. It's actually strangely practical, 100 meters water resistant. It's a little heavy on the wrist. It seems to weigh more than my sports watches, like my Explorer 2 or my GMT. So it does feel like you're wearing something on the wrist. It's not one of these kind of fit and forget type watches. I love the bracelet. I love the kind of the degree of freedom within it and movement of this President bracelet. It's just so luxurious. It's lovely. I think in terms of where these sit value-wise at the moment, I think they're always going to have quite a niche market and a niche following. I think if you're looking for one, I would really recommend the double quick set, so post 1990. I'd also be mindful of those watches that have had a dial change. I'd be very interested to get this one changed actually, but I do know that a few of them are changed because they have water damage. So if they have had a dial change, it might indicate that the watch has, maybe gone diving without the crown screwed in or something. So be aware of that one. I think if you can get a full set, it's going to add a huge amount of value, just because these watches I think will continue to be incredibly collectible in the future, not least because they're always going to be icons of Rolex. So those that have full sets are going to be few and far between. So look for those that have, I'm not sure about this foam, you can probably lose this foam that I've also got with it. I'm not sure if this is Rolex foam or not, but you need to be keeping a lookout for this brown leather box and this brown leather booklet, and then this wonderful map inspired box here to finish it all off. So I hope this has been useful. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my thoughts on this beautiful watch. If you have any comments, please do leave them below, and I'll get back to you, of course, if you have any questions. Thanks again. Bye-bye.